We did all right.
That's funny. That was a secret well kept for you guys.
Hey, I can remember the
Put a
ball.
ball in your back pocket.
Yeah.
I can remember the ball being hit and rolling over there, and the fielder going out to get it, and you would lose sight of the fielder, and all of a sudden here comes the ball. He picked it up and he's throwing it back. Here it comes.
That's hilarious.
That is funny. Coach, looking back at those times, I know we got Lance Smith and Butch Keene and Ronnie Keene here this morning. Who were some of those other guys on that team?
We had Big Joni Britt. I guess he was a peacekeeper on the team. He was kind of, he was a problem solver. You played his way. And Joni and Anthony Meloso, he's gone to be with the Lord now. But Anthony and Joni, every day, if I was a little late getting in practice, we had tag team championship wrestling. They had to wrestle every day. And Robbie Sarton was in with that group. He would join in. And,
Robbie, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Robbie was my third baseman for that club. And like I say, we had a young man by the name of Danny Smith that played left field, and Robbie Britt. I can't tell a lot of tales about him. Best that I'm not. But Robbie was a good center fielder.
This is a family show now.
Yeah, that's okay. And Kenneth Carmichael played right, and
So he's the one that got to go to the sloop.
yeah, back then.
Yeah.
Yes, but no, our playoff games, once we got out of the district.
Oh, you got to
we
bring
did-
people. Oh,
we-
you got to
we
bring
did
people
go
out of
west.
town to the sloop.
No, we did go to West Lincoln and play on their field, and Coach Case helped me out there.
Was their facility pretty nice back then?
Well,
or
just
better than everybody else?
Cow Palace.
Or flatter?
It was much better than ours.
Okay.
But at Hamilton now, we played at Hamilton the first game of the state tournament, and their regulation pitching mound is 10 inches, and we go up there and it's what, 4 inches? If that. And the guy walks out there, steps on home plate and steps off so many steps and nails the pitching rubber down. And after about the first inning, Lance says there's something wrong. His dirt ball hitting about 2 feet out in front of the plate, and so somebody goes and buys tape measure. He's pitching 62 feet instead of the regulation 60, So, but anyway, that worked out good. But we had a lot of
It's
fun.
called home field advantage. Isn't it?
Yes.
Is that where the poles was in the outfield?
They had poles in the outfield, 2 old light poles. They had committed turn a little league field into a high school baseball field, and the poles were cut off in the way out there, but we avoided most of them. But now, like I say, we had Butch. His parents named him right. He's a Butch now because Butch had the philosophy behind the plate. If a runner got on, go ahead and run. I'm gonna throw you out, and he did most of the time. And he was about the 5th inning at Hamilton. Lance began to tar maybe a little bit, and I sent Butch to the mound to speak to him. Just stay out there to the umpire, just give him a breather. Butch goes out there and asks him about this young lady sitting in the stand. Boy, she's looking good, And Lance, but anyway, we had a lot of fun.
Going back to that, I watched the report, and what is Butch coming out here for? Go back to the time to play, Butch. Leave me alone. But he broke the mood and got me back where I meant to be at.
So was your mind on the little girl behind home plate, or where was it at?
I never had to see the girl. Butch noticed it.
And he had his back to the audience. What's going
I
on,
don't
man?
know. I hadn't figured that one
Yeah,
out.
watching King, you out there.
In that particular game, Lance had one ball he liked to throw up there. Had a little scuff on it, too.
Don't tell my secret.
And Butch finally stands up and he looks at the ball and said, "Hey, Mr. Ump, this ball scuffed up a little." I thought him and Lance was going to fight when they got in the dugout, but But we had a principal, Mr. Greg Whittier, that really supported our baseball program too. He supported every fashion of it.
He must have been a young principal.
He was. That was his first year.
Because he whipped me about 30 years later.
Well, I'm sure you didn't.
I didn't deserve it.
I know.
No.
But he supported us, and he got in these model airplanes. He liked to fly them, and Sunday afternoons we practiced baseball up there at school, and he'd be down on the football field flying those planes, and our kids would all batting practice trying to hit those planes. But anyway, he was a lot of support for us and did a good job.
You're listening to Coach Ricky Smith and some of the crew from 1980, that Loyd Star Championship team. I just got a text from Coach Brakefield out there at Loyd Star. All the coaches are gathered around the radio listening, and want to thank y'all for all y'all did and the effort that was put in at Loyd Star. And tomorrow, a must-win for these Hornets. Coach, I know you've been watching them and keeping up with them. This team's loaded with some talent this year.
Oh, yes, sir. This is a great team. It's a great team. We have pitching, have hitting, and is it okay to say that our young man won the two? You know, we have a young man, Cade Hodges, is a 2A state baseball player of the state of Mississippi.
Wow.
He's 12-1, and he's just a sophomore, but he has a lot of support, other kids there. We have, you know, Levi Reds, you know, and Connor Allen, and Parker Flowers. We have about 4 good pitchers and good catching. And this is a good group. They're young, and they gel together. They have, I think, they should feel good about going into tomorrow's game.
Right.
They should feel good about it.
Of course, like that 1980 team, they had good coaching, a good support staff, and I think the same here with the brothers, the Britt brothers in the dugout calling the plays and making things happen. I believe WJTV did a great job with the interview with those Britt boys, I guess you could call them. They're grown men, bigger than I am, so I'm going to be careful of calling them boys, but Seth and Jared Britt have done a great job with this team. And watching other coaches, Coach, you kind of pick up on some of those things, don't you?
Oh, yeah. They, like I say, they're dedicated to the game, and I watched them play, got to coach a little bit of them before I got out of it. And they're dedicated to the game, and they're up on the game. And like I say, they do a real good job, and kids really respect them and play hard for them.
Right.
You know.
And hope they can pull it out tomorrow. They've got, if they have any comeback in them, they need to bring it with them to Trustmark Park, to the old TP tomorrow in Pearl. 1 o'clock for the first pitch. We'll have that game on the radio on ESPN 92.9. Coach, good to see you. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having us here, and good to see these guys. And
kind of like an old Loyd Star reunion.
well, these guys are special. They're special. They have a spot in my heart.
Right. Lance, you have any final words you want to add to the broadcast this morning?
No, just appreciate having us. Bring back good memories.
Yeah.
You know, it's a story we talked about earlier that I had forgotten, as we discussed. I remember them then. You know, so it's good to reflect back on old times.
Right.
Makes you feel old sometimes.
Yeah, it makes you feel good though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But Butch, I know Greg was sharing a story about you stealing second and then stealing first back earlier before we
Yeah, he had to shake my memory. I had forgot about it, but I remember.
Butch was a sophomore when I was a senior, and I can remember he got on first, he stole second. And the next batter swung at a pitch and got away from the catcher. And somebody, I think, convinced Butch out at second that it had been a foul tip. And he turned around and starts walking back to first. Well, it was a live ball, you know, and somewhere in the process, they all figured it out, and Butch slid in safely at first.
So he stole second and first again.
That might be a Lincoln County record, I guess.
It may be. It could be. It could be. Ronnie, I know you look back as a young guy, as an 8th grader, you were on this team with these guys and playing with them. And where'd you go at that point? Did you play? Did you pitch too at Loyd Star? Or kind of tell us some of the positions you played at Loyd Star. Did you play them all?
I played second base. I just went wherever Coach Smith told me to go. That's where I went.
Quickly, in a hurry. You know, talking about you, we don't want to make y'all feel old, but you said you started back the process in '77.
That's right.
That was a year I was
That's
born.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Lance, no matter how old it makes you feel, I'll share some philosophy that Terry Britt and I have, and you guys can take this with you for the rest of your life, okay? The older we get, the better we work.
They all are.
That's right.
We had an older brother that played with Greg too.
That's right.
Eddie.
That's correct.
I knew that. That's right.
Eddie pitched a good ball too. I called Eddie.
Unless the one that went around behind his back had hit him.